Evening, hello, and welcome along to and welcome along to GS TV Tuesday night show live here in the studio, and we've got Lewis. How you doing, Lewis?
No great. Wasn't a good result there at the weekend, but you know what? Okay. Still got to keep the faith.
We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in detail soon. And on the controls tonight, doing the productions and reading your comments, etc., is Simon. Don't know if Simon's speaking tonight or
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So, as always, unfortunately, a lot to talk about. It might be construed as negative as well. However, it's just the way it is at the moment with aspects of a club. And we'll delve right in and we'll discuss the game against Falkirk. We'll discuss it in kind of more detail. But first of all, Lewis, your overall thoughts and comments on the game as a whole.
To be honest, I mean, obviously not great, poor performance. I mean, I think it's one of the games that you actually can't blame the defence, considering we kept a rare clean sheet. There was just nothing going forward. To be honest, we never looked like scoring at any point in the game.
Yeah.
We never created any clear-cut chances. Mm-hmm. We struggled in the final third.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, we'll analyse it more in depth in a minute. But in general, poor. Revert to type this season. I think over the last kind of 4 or 5 weeks with some wins, it has papered over the cracks of some poor performances. And it's worrying that we've had 2 league games in a row at Ibrox against the newly promoted teams, Livingston and Falkirk. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we've not scored. We scored 2 goals. Strikers haven't scored. And we're actually struggling to create any chances at the moment as well. So let's get right into it then in some more detail. So let's just address it. I probably will say some stats tonight. I will try not to because I know it's boring. However, we've got a job to report on what's happening. So there's probably multiple reasons, but for you, Lewis, what sticks out about our attack right now? Where's it all going wrong?
The forwards aren't getting much service, to be honest, specifically at striker. I think Miovski, and I've said it multiple times in this channel, Miovski needs a service. Miovski can't drop deep. As much as he does drop deep, because he's getting frustrated that he's not getting the ball. But he's a penalty box striker. He's someone that you play a ball in behind the defender and he runs onto it. And we're just not doing that. We're playing it into his feet and he's trying to hold it up. He's trying to do all this. And he just can't do that. Mm-hmm. Against your teams like... Well, when it was at Aberdeen, against your teams like your Celtic and your Rangers, even your Hibs Hearts and stuff like that, he bullied defenders by running behind. He bullied them physically and got in their heads as well. So, and we've not really seen any of that. We've not seen that at all this season because he's not getting the service. The first thing I said as soon as he joined, I was like, this is a great signing, but he needs to get the service. And he's just not getting that at all. So I don't necessarily blame Miovski himself for not scoring goals. Yes, he's had a couple of chances. He scored, I think, 2 goals. And they've been tap-ins, to be honest. But again, right place at the right time. But it's just not been good enough. He's not getting the service from your midfielders, your wingers. He's a perfect striker for getting out to the wingers, whipping out the box, header it in. He's that type of striker for me. And he's, as I've said multiple times, he's not getting enough service.
Okay. So some interesting points here about Miovski. I kind of spell and say his name differently each week, I think. But so that's why I asked you first, because I thought I'd take my lead for you. But he was great at Aberdeen. He was a kind of unknown striker. You hadn't really heard about him before. He came to Aberdeen. He had a couple of good seasons. He scored some great goals. He scored some good goals against us, unfortunately, as well. Mm-hmm. I think you're right in the service element of it. We're certainly not providing enough opportunities, but also he's the kind of guy that would play on the shoulder of the last defender. And funnily enough, a lot of the goals we lose are from a ball straight through the middle, in between the 2 defenders. We don't seem to be giving any for strikers, let alone Miovski, that kind of ball in. And I think he's that kind of striker. as well as being a penalty box striker. You made a good point, Lewis, about the fact that his goals has been, the right place, right time. Now that's what you want in a striker.
Yeah, of course.
So that's kind of a decent element of his game right now, where he's still getting in positions. But ultimately, the strikers are judged on their goals, and at the moment, it just ain't happening for any of them. Do you think Miovski is our best striker or our most natural finisher at the club right now?
I think it's hard to say that he's not, considering he's proven previously in the Scottish top division that he is very clinical when given the chances, when given, once again, that word, service. Once he's given that. Out of the three strikers that we've got, well, we have three main strikers that we've got, Danilo, Chermiti and Miovski. Miovski is by far the best option, I think, up front, but it's still not good enough. And I've seen a lot of people saying, we should have signed Shankland over Miovski, but I think if we signed Shankland, we'd have the same issues, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that debate's been gone. We've done it to death on this show. Yourself, myself, Simon, Ryan, Jay, etc. We've all discussed it at length on this show. Disappointed not to get Shankland. I believe outside your farm, he's the top goal scorer on the SPL. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure I'm right. But could be wrong. So we missed a trick on that, especially given the fact there's a free transfer. However, it is what it is. We can't, there's no point discussing it really too much. So we also cost about 4 million, I believe, and he's scored 2 goals. And he's been at the club since August, towards the middle of August or so. Maybe the last kind of week in August. So I remember his debut was in the Old Firm game. So do you still think that he can come good and he can get a barrel load of goals? Because he is capable. I personally think he is capable. But when you're a striker, you're not scoring goals, your confidence levels go down. Is it possible for him to even recover from this dip in form?
Absolutely. More than possible. I think every striker out there has gone through some sort of a dip or a run where I'm not scoring goals for maybe 8, 9, 10 games or so. That's what it's been for Miovski. I mean, we've seen it before. Morelos was a very on and off player. He wasn't the most consistent. One week he was scoring hat tricks. The next week he was missing sitters. It actually reminds me a bit of Dessers, to be honest. And I'm going to get onto that point shortly. It'll be a start very similar to the one that you mentioned absolutely every single week. But I seen it on BBC on Sports Scene. And I believe it's something like we got rid of around 65, 66 goals and we've replaced it with 7 or something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers, but Dessers, Igamani, and certainly was on loan. Although we did certainly have the chance to go in for him on a permanent deal. Yeah, it was like what, 66, 67 goals or something like that we got rid of for 7 goals. So far in the season. Don't get me wrong, look, we're less than halfway into the season. It could change. It won't get up to those sort of numbers that we were at last season. But the scary thing is, last season we never won anything. That's what our forwards are putting out. This season, our forwards are putting out so much less, so much more poor, inadequate performances. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Miovski is to blame for him not scoring goals, but he's not been great. He hasn't been great. Neither is Chermiti. Neither is Danilo, to be honest. Danilo, he scored that goal against, the 2 goals against Kilmarnock, then the one against Hibs. 2 great goals. Ever since then, as much as he's not been given that much of a chance, it's been more Chermiti and Miovski. But he's not hit the ground running since then, like we all thought he would have. So I certainly think it's very easy for Miovski to recover from this. And it's by letting the players know that he needs the service, he needs the ball in behind, because I don't think the players see that. Because they're not doing it. If they knew that, then they would at least be trying it. But they're not. Simple as that, I think.
Yeah, no, some good points in there. What I have noticed over the last few weeks is Danny Rowell seems to have a rotational policy when it comes to the strikers. So, and I don't know if this is true or not, or that it's even possible, but Chermiti, for some reason, has started all the European games.
Yep.
So I actually think that's in his contract, and you can get clauses like that in contracts these days. But I'm just wondering, Lewis, what your thoughts are on if the rotational, keeping because when Danny Rowell came in, Danilo started playing, started a couple of games. But that's changed on a Thursday night for Chermiti to start the European games, and then Miovski started a couple of games as well. So no one's really getting a chance to make their mark, or not really getting that consistency. Do you think the rotation up front's part of the problem, or do you think that, given the fact these strikers cost a hell of a lot of money, they should be able to come in and score?
I think forwards, the same as defenders, even midfielders as well, need to form a partnership with each other. And if it's constantly rotating, it's constantly changing, they're not going to form that partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made that same point about the defence this season as well. I don't think, well, apart from maybe when Cornelius came in, it was consistently Cornelius and Suter for most games. But before that, we were seeing it being Suter and Giger, Suter, Fernandes, Giger and Fernandes, etc. So I certainly think we need to get more consistent with our team picking. As much as, don't get me wrong, I like how he's been a wee bit unpredictable, Danny Rowe. I like that because I think it's difficult for teams to actually know how you're going to play. If you're going like that, if you're rotating constantly, whether it's the formation or the team that you're actually picking. But at the same time, you need your crucial players to form a partnership with each other, to play off each other, because we've seen that plenty of times. Well, I haven't in my lifetime, but back in the 9-0 days, you need your two centre halves in the basically playing off each other. Didn't even have to communicate. They just knew what each other were going to do.
Great team cohesion. So that's actually a very good point. So back in those days, they still played a lot of games, but we had the same strikers up front week in, week out, same defenders week in, week out, unless there was injuries. But do you think? We can't really start criticising Danny Rowe so early. But you said something about being unpredictable, and I agree with that when it's difficult games, especially European games, given a bit unpredictability. But it's Falkirk at home.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we should ever be in a position where we need to pull tactical surprises at home against Falkirk. I mean, it's scary that Falkirk, who's just up from the Championship, have actually scored 5 more goals than Rangers this season.
Yeah, I'm going to give my props to Falkirk this season because they've been incredible.
Sorry, for people like myself and Simon who are not young, what does that mean? I'm going to give my props. Sorry, is that praise? Or
I basically give a bit of respect and give a bit of praise to Falkirk for this season, and especially our manager John McGlynn. I think ever since they've came up for the Championship, he's kept the same core of the team. He's basically kept the sort of same style of play, and he's went for it. He's went for games. He's not going into these games and sitting back. Apart from maybe against your Rangers and Celtics, but even like you look at last weekend, Falkirk beat Dundee United 3-0 away from home. I don't see us doing that anytime soon. For goodness sake, like come on, like you've got to give a bit of respect for that. They've set themselves up brilliantly this season, albeit he who shall not be named last game was Falkirk away, and it was a one each draw. Which, to be honest, I think it's safe to say Falkirk actually should have won that game. And I would say the same actually about Sunday. I think Falkirk deserved to win it more than what we did anyways. So I seen a comment from Danny Rowe in his press conference that he was pleased to keep a clean sheet, but we just need to be better going forward, which I mean, I think it's that puts it simply, but fair. To be honest, like, it's better than what we've seen defensively, but come on, you expect a clean sheet against Falkirk at home, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to just bring in Danilo into the conversation because I said something to the group the other day. Danilo's been at the club for 2.5. It's either 3.5 years or 2.5 years. I believe it's 2.5 years. And he costs us £5 million. He's on upwards of 25-30 grand a week plus bonuses. I believe he's scored a total of something like 10 goals in 2.5 years. And he's had 5 different. Well, I know you said 2 head coaches, but I just call them managers. He's had 5 different managers as well.
3 managers, 2 head coaches.
3 managers, 2 head coaches. I think that's I just think that's systemic of our club. The fact that we're bringing in these players and they're not cutting it, but they cost a lot of money, so you can't just put them in the reserves, and they're not scoring goals, and they're costing managers their jobs. So do you see something like Danilo, who's, again, I said this the other week, whose sole qualification at the moment for playing for Rangers, his dad dances in the stands. Again, is getting a lot of game time. Do you see even a future for these players under Danny Rowe? Do you think something like Danilo has got what it takes to be Rangers forward? Because I'll put my cards on the table right now. I think he's absolutely garbage. Right, and maybe I'm being a bit strong for dramatic effect because it's a show, but. Well, actually, do you know what? For what he's cost us in transfer fees and wages, I'm actually going to stick by that. and say overall he has been garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to provoke a reaction, but I would love to see him come good. But do you think he's got that to come good?
That's a tough one to answer, to be honest, because we've seen glimpses where he has been good. I mean, that goal against Hibs, fantastic finish, took on his weaker foot as well. The goal against Kilmarnock, a great header, very well placed, good ball into the box by Magoma. But the thing is, like, these players are costing so much money, and they're just not cutting it. And it's so simple, and we've moaned about it in the channel for so long, but we're not wrong either. Like, these players are costing. The Rangers, a lot of the Rangers fans think he only cost 6 million. What do you mean only?
I'm being generous. I'm saying 5 million, but at this moment in time, it doesn't 5-6 million. It's the same, roughly the same thing. But he's on. People forget he'll be on 30 grand a week. You know what I mean? That's almost. And you take bonuses into account. Always, he doesn't get a lot of goal bonuses, right enough.
Say better not be a goal bonus.
They'll probably pay him to, but in total, 2 million a year.
Aye.
Right, so that's over 2.5 years. Well, this will be a third season. That's £12 million, and we've got about 10-11 goals out of him. So £1 million a goal.
Yeah. A lot of strikers cost a combined of what? Let's say Chamiti was 8 million, Danilo 6 million. That's 14 million, and Miovski. Oh, so say around 17.5, 18 million. These strikers cost, and we scored 7 goals. Well, they've scored 7 goals.
I think it's 6, by the way. But
it might actually be 6. You might be right. I might be being generous. I 6.
I think it is 6.
I'm being generous here.
I mean, it's scary. It is actually scary to think that a £20 million attack has contributed 6 goals this season. And as you said at the top of the show, we've replaced Chamiti, Danilo was still there right enough, but Danilo, who's now injury free, and Miovski have replaced Czerny, Egeman, and Dessers, and it's a swinger. 60 goals. It's like no wonder we're fourth in the league. So I was going to ask this question to the viewers at home and you and Simon tonight, Lewis. Sometimes you buy players and it doesn't work out. Okay. Sometimes you buy big players, it doesn't work out. But sometimes you buy players you haven't heard of and it works out really, really well. So do you think part of the problem is that we're signing players with ability, but we're not signing players with the right mentality? Because when they put that shirt on, it's too big for them. Whereas when we buy other players, and I'll give you 2 examples, just Hampshire defenders, but somebody like Katic and Balogun, who were never big name celebrity players, big clubs, but they seem to grow in the jersey. And even Raskin as well. Raskin came in and he was relatively unknown.
Yeah,
I would argue at the time.
It was a bit of a young prospect at standard age, but I think before the whole rumours of Raskin joining Rangers, I don't think any Rangers fans are. Well, certainly myself, I hadn't ever heard of him. But the thing is, you talk about Katic here, and that's actually one I really wanted to bring up. Katic, Nico Katic.
Happy to serve, Lewis, you know what I mean?
That's what you do, and that's what you're here for. Nico Katic cost Schalke 400 grand. 400 grand he cost him. That is 16 times less. That's around 16 times less what Chamiti cost us, right? He's a regular in the Bosnian national team. He's a solid defender. He's no one for the whole player at the back. He's one of those sort of defend first type of defenders. He's proper no nonsense. That's exactly what we need, and we've lacked that for years. I don't know why we get rid of him.
Yeah. So and Balogun as well. I hadn't really heard of Balogun. I hadn't really heard of Raskin, but these are 3 players that have grown in stature since when they joined Rangers, and since they've left, Raskin and Balogun obviously I think left the first time went to QPR. Don't know how well he played, but Katic hasn't really, I don't think, set the world on fire since leaving Rangers. But I think there were better players at Rangers than they have been out with everywhere else in their career. And Raskin's grown into the jersey and became a regular starter for Belgium, which is no easy feat. No, so the other side of the coin is, so that's players that have developed at Rangers and grown into the jersey. But do you think the jersey is just too much for some of these players we brought in, like Asgard and Chamiti and somebody like Antman even? Because I don't have any doubt that somebody like Asgard's a very talented player, but for some reason, it's just not working. So Any thoughts on that? Or the point I'm making is that should we be looking at the mentality of the players before we buy them, or
I mean,
or
I mean,
is it all about ability?
yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I go on about always. We've said this for years, but we have said this for years. We're signing these players who are coming in, thinking the Scottish League is going to be, pardon the line, a bit of a piss take, and it's not. It's absolutely not, and they're not actually realising how big of a club Rangers are and how important winning is for Rangers. I mean, we're signing a lot of these players from your bang average mid-table clubs. They're coming in, not really knowing the mentality of having to win week in, week out, expecting to win at least 2 or 3 trophies a season, compete well in Europe. They're not coming in with that sort of expectation. They're coming in thinking, well, if we lose a few games, draw a couple of games, drop a few points, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. But it's absolutely not that at Rangers. I mean, obviously, say you win a league, but you lose two games and you draw 3. Nobody's going to remember the 2 games you lost and the 3 games you drew. But at the same time, now at the most, probably one of, if not the lowest points of our season right now. Maybe not the lowest. I think that's a bit harsh, especially in Danny Rowe. But at one of the hardest points of the season, we've got a lot of tough away games coming up. We've got Dundee United, Kelly away, and I think we've got Aberdeen away and Hearts away just before Christmas as well. Then, of course, the Old Firm at Parkhead as well. We've got some really tough games coming up. I think mentality is the first thing you need to look at going into important games like this, especially away to like your Hearts, Aberdeen, Celtic.
I know. I just think it's mad how we're now actually describing Kelly away as a tough game. Is that? I mean, because Kelly away.
I was going to say, Kilmarnock away's always been quite a tough fixture, to be honest, especially for us. I don't think I can't remember the last time we went there and, well, thumped them, I'm going to say. I genuinely, we always go there and we always struggle. We always struggle at Kilmarnock, whether we get a result. But I think the majority, especially the last 2 or 3 years or so, we're going to Kilmarnock with the fear of getting beat or drawn.
So that's the point I'm making, because I don't think somebody like, I know it's a long time ago, I know it's not the same, but I don't think somebody like Walter Smith would sit on a Tuesday night and go, oh my God, I've got Kelly away on Saturday, what will I do? But for some reason, some of our players are right now are probably dreading the next 4 days. So how do we fix this, Lewis? Like, so transfer windows. Before we get to that, I'm going to ask one final question about what happened in Sunday there regarding the game, etc. Do you think Daniel Rowe was in for any criticism with his tactics and his game plan, or is he still in the kind of settling in stroke free pass territory?
I'm not going to give him a free pass. I certainly don't think that's right, because no matter the players you've got at Rangers at home to Falkirk, I think you've got to win. And I don't think, I mean, you look at previous managers are getting all the blame for their own points. The players aren't getting any of it, but now it's the other way about. And I think it has to be a bit of both, to be honest. I think if you're setting up in a way where you're going for a draw against a team like Falkirk, because we never even, as I said before, we never even looked like going forward and truly creating decent chances. I don't remember one chance where we should have scored, to be honest, against Falkirk. Maybe 1 or 2, but
well, with 3 shots on target in 90 minutes.
Aye, exactly.
So at the very most, there was 3, and I can't remember off the top of my head how decent those shots were, but we had 3 shots on target.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think the manager's got to get a little bit of criticism. I think it's unfair if it's all on the players. I think it's clear that the players are not cut out for this league, whether it is Rangers or whatever. But I don't think they're cut out for Rangers at all. Simply not good enough. I mean, this Rangers team will not win anything with the squad depth that we've got. Our two best centre halves get injured. My God, really. I'm going to read out this wee comment here from Chick Sharp from YouTube. Yeah. So I'd say we're now still a feeder club, as I expect Marath to try and take him on the cheap to Leeds United, unless Leeds United get relegated. Yeah, well, I mean,
is that for Raskin?
Yeah, I think so.
I was hoping it might be Shamiti.
Shamiti for 16 million. I mean, Nico.
Aye.
Yeah. Thought
I was hoping it was Shamiti, Chick.
No, well, I mean, there was slight rumours in summer that Raskin was going to end up at Leeds for 20-25 million deal. Blah, blah.
Mhm.
I don't think there was ever any proper truth in that. But if that was to happen, I think a move to the Premier League would be fantastic. Obviously, I know Chicky said that if Leeds get relegated, it'll probably be off the cards. But if Leeds manage to stay in the Premier League, which I don't think they will, to be honest, never know. But I don't think they will. It could happen.
You said that Rangers have a tough couple of games coming up. You should see at least get you over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Oof, I know. I mean, I think they've got Chelsea on Wednesday night as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we digress a
Don't
little
think-
bit there. So the transfer window is now fast. It's amazing how quickly time goes at the moment, but we are now just 4.5 weeks away from transfer window opening. Again, we've obviously sacked unceremoniously Thelwell and Stewart. It was interesting. Danny Rowe, I think he made this. I'm sure I remember him hearing this comment in his press conference that he said that he now has more influence in the transfers, or it was a positive because he was getting more influence. So, where do you strengthen first?
I think it's got to be a central defenders. Like, as much as we want poor defensively necessarily in Sunday, but Fernandes and Nasser Jigger cannot be your two centre halves going forward into potentially January, February. That cannot be your centre half pairing going into an Old Firm away from home. Absolutely not.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I think the Old Firm is at the 2nd or 3rd of January. So it's obviously right at the very start of the January window. But yeah, we're gonna come off talking about the football shortly. Just a wee chat about our studios. The fact that in the new year, the Gers TV will be going through a studio refurb. Part of this will include inviting guests from our Patreon, from other supporters clubs, etc., up to the studio bar to enjoy our live shows, live in person, enjoy a beer whilst we're watching it, have a game of pool, etc., whatever. Come up and enjoy the studio because that's what it's here. It's here for folk to enjoy. We want folk to come up from our Patreon, of course, at the start, but it might even end up being invites to Rangers supporters clubs or folk from Rangers bars, friends and family, etc., and coming up and enjoying the place because that's ultimately what it's here for. It's here for Rangers fans by Rangers fans.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to that. We're putting a lot of time and effort and money into our studio, and it's a great social space as well. We want to share that with our people out there. So look out for some announcements on that over the next days and weeks ahead. So, yeah. So, nice little break there to advertise that. Do you want to give the Black Bull a mention, Lewis, where we were?
Just sure. A wee quick mention to the Black Bull. Obviously, I'm never at the place, so I might as well give them a wee mention. Obviously a fantastic pub right in the heart of Cambuslang, right on the main street, right next to Cambuslang train station as well, with some great places round about it for food, for drinks. If you're wanting drinks, obviously only come to the Black Bull, I say. But yeah, fantastic pub, fantastic staff, great, lovely, friendly punters. You'll always walk in and you'll leave a smile on your face. And I don't want you making any comments here, Gordy, because I know you do. I know you always make a wee face, and I don't mean it like that.
Listen,
you'll always.
I'm
not going to say you're always going to leave it on you, pal, either, because I know you'll say something like that as well.
leave me with a smile on your face, a new pal. I fell for that with Simon 12 years ago.
Where? So, Rangers away trip?
Oof, don't get me started. So, excellent. So, the Black Bull, fantastic pub. And it's quite handy next to the train station, isn't it, as well? So,
yeah. I certainly think the Gers TV will probably be doing a bit more work at the Black Bull sooner or later. We did a show at the Black Bull earlier on in August, and it seemed to go down very well with not only our viewers, but the Black Bull punters as well. We actually enjoyed about 10 of them coming out to the beer garden to watch us with a beer. So if we were to do that in the future, just know you can come to the Black Bull and enjoy us watching a wee beer. I think probably more suited to the summer if we're in the beer garden due to the cold weather right now. But yeah, a fantastic pub, as previously mentioned, in the heart of Cambuslang. And the Gers TV will sure be doing more work there in the near future.
Yeah. So we've got obviously football is a sport like this is the eternal optimism of football, where we've got a chance to put things right tomorrow night up in Dundee. So we spent some time looking ahead to that game with the operative phrase being looking ahead, because we need to start
looking forward though.
Positive. I mean, we have got an opportunity in the next few weeks to there's a lot of games coming up. The games are coming up thick and fast. I actually think the game against Falkirk has set us back a little bit, but surely we should be looking at most of these fixtures and saying to ourselves, these are wins. These should be wins. So absolutely. You're in charge, Lewis, tomorrow night. Picture yourself. You're writing names down for the team sheet. Who makes your team and who doesn't, and why?
It is very tough. I think obviously tomorrow night, Dundee United away, you should win that. But both teams have been quite poor this season. It's probably the most unpredictable game so far. But yet again, most Rangers games this season are unpredictable. So it's a tough one to call in terms of the team. I actually don't know how I would set up. It's a bit of a tough one. I think you've got to set up, I think, in the same way as what we did against Hibs away. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Hibs away, obviously, it was a very sort of more rigid performance. It was a 1-0. It was a bit of a scrappy game. But it's those sort of games that are going to win you trophies. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say the league's out of the window, but at the same time, it's a bit of a stretch. But I think I would start Jack Butland in goal, Tavernier at right back. I don't like this whole Max Aarons at left back. I don't like players playing out of position, considering we have got a left back there in Jayden Magoma. Albeit I do know we need more depth there at the left back, so I think that's another place I would target in January. So I would start with Magoma. I would probably go with Fernandes. We've got Fernandes and Giga. That's probably only really two options. You've got Nsiala and you've got even Bailey Rice, who has actually played at centre half before at youth level. So we could possibly see one of them making an appearance. I don't see it happening, but you never know. I would like to see Nsiala get a chance, and as much as I know you don't rate him, Gordy, but ever since that game against Killie away,
funny enough,
Barry Ferguson's first game, he made two crucial mistakes. He got subbed off, then we came back to win the game 4-2. I get it was two bad mistakes, but he's not had really much chance since then, if any.
I have been thinking about this, Lewis, and yes, I think my feelings on Nsiala have been quite clear up to this point. That said, that game was 6 months ago. Two new managers have come in. He's been training with good players. He's been training for 6 months. He hasn't left Rangers. He still wants to play at Rangers, and I would like for him to be given a chance to see if he has improved, and if he has, great. If he hasn't, then fair enough, he's lost his chance again. But I do think that the fact of the matter is that Giga and I know Fernandes scored a goal where he was at like 12 foot in the air the other week against Livingston, but we still look very shaky at the back. So I don't think Nsiala could come in and do any worse. I don't massively rate him. However, given the fact that game was back in May, this is now December. That's literally 6, 7 months. Hopefully he's improved and learnt for that game. So I would like him to give him at least one start. And if that's tomorrow night, so be it. So I don't think he can be. I hate using this phrase, but I use it a lot in Rangers these days. I don't think he can be any worse than Giga.
I was just about to come on to a point, and I was actually going to talk about one of our youth centre halves that we've got. And I think he went quite not viral, but he was quite well known for a wee bit a couple of weeks ago. And it's a boy Connor Owen, only 16-year-old. He was playing last night with Rangers under-19s and played fantastically at the back. Rangers won 3-2 with a late goal at the end, an own goal from the Celtic defender. But the boy Connor Owen, he was absolutely fantastic. He's very solid, and he's 16 playing under-19s. So he's playing up a level.
Okay.
So it clearly shows that he's got talent and he's got the ability there. And I'm actually going to say the exact same thing that you said there. He can't be any worse than Giga.
Okay.
I'm not saying I would start him tomorrow night necessarily, but I think give him a chance, see what he can do in the first team. I think tomorrow night's a bit of a stretch for him, considering he only played last night. But even a wee 5-10 minutes towards the end of the game.
Okay, interesting. unfortunately, I mean, the way our games have went this season, we don't really. You would love to be 3-4-0 up in some games, and you can bring on some youngsters.
Yeah, of
But
course.
we're not really in that. We've not. I can't remember a game that we've been in that we've had that luxury so far this season, apart from Victoria Pilsen at home under the previous regime, which just seems like a lifetime ago, unfortunately. So midfield, then I think that our midfield on paper is a good midfield, but
Yeah, absolutely.
again, I don't want to fall out with people, but I just
Too late.
a deal Mandy just doesn't cut it for me. Like I think there's a player in there, but I cannot remember. I mean, Diamante's maybe made one or two contributions the whole season, and he seems to start. He starts a hell of a lot of games, and he maybe like 80-90% of games, and I just don't see it with Diamante at the moment. When he first came in, I think he had a good start to his career. Then he got an injury, which is the story of Rangers, really. But never since then, he's just not quite cut it. But what's happened with Diamante, Lewis? Why is he just not finding that form that he had when he first joined us?
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same about plenty of players. I mean, you could actually say the same about Antman. Why is he not playing?
I'm getting to him in a second.
Yeah,
Lewis.
I mean,
the surprise
no, that's fine. I'll not talk about him too much then. Obviously injured for 8 weeks, but that seems to be the same with a lot of our players. Oscar Cortez is a great example. Oscar Cortez, his first 1 or 2 games, he scored. I believe it was his debut, the home game against Hearts, 5-0. Scored a great goal. Was playing well for the next 3 or 4 games. Got a really bad injury. Then didn't really get much of a chance. Made a very rare appearance against Motherwell away, I think, the first game of the season. Then he went out on loan to Sporting Gijón, and now that looks like thigh-making donkey noises, otherwise known as just Sai speaking. So, Sporting, it looks like that loan might be getting cancelled and might be coming back to us in January. And that means that we're stuck with him because he's already played for 2 clubs, so he can't actually leave. Well, he can leave and join another club, but he won't play for them. So,
what is the reasons for these loans getting terminated? Just not being good over there?
Not being good enough. They're sat mid-table in the Spanish second division. These are not the players that you want at Rangers. Don't get me wrong. I know what you're saying, that we should maybe be bringing in players who are more maybe unknown but have the mentality. But I don't think Oscar Cortez has that.
Okay.
I think ever since his injury, he's not been at it. It's clear to say he's not been at it. He's not been finding the form that he was in for the first 4 or 5 games when he was at Rangers.
So we've got Antman out for 8 weeks.
Yep.
Gassam seems to have lost some form as well. So, I mean, who plays in the wings tomorrow night and who plays up front?
It's a very tough one. I think with Oliver Antman being out, I think this is a great chance to integrate Finlay Curtis back into the first team. He's someone who we've yearned for the last 2 or 3 months. He was coming off the bench in August. He was scoring against Panathinaikos. Came off the bench, goal. And he's suddenly getting not even phased out. He was just automatically took out the team and hasn't had really any of a chance ever since then. And I think it's you could probably Finlay Curtis out on the right, then Gassama on the left, or swap them out, have Curtis on the left, Gassama on the right, then probably Miovski up front. It's really bad. That's not a front three that any team's going to fear.
But it should be.
It should be, especially at Rangers, because it's 3 good players. You've got Finlay Curtis, I mean, who obviously I just spoke about there, who's in some great form at the start of the season. You've got Miovski, who, when he was at Aberdeen, was one of, if not the best striker in Scotland. And you've got Gassama as well. And his first 2 or 3 games, particularly in Europe, was absolutely fantastic for us, scoring some crucial goals. But ever since then, he's just not cut it. He's not been at it. He's struggling to take a man on. He's struggling to even get by a man, whether he's actually taking him on, dribbling past him or not. He's struggling to actually just simply get by him. I don't think he's actually scored in a fair while as well. I think the last game he actually scored might have been Sturm Graz away.
Yes, I mean, we haven't. No one knows group. You're absolutely right. I can't remember off the top of my head what his last goal. So I do remember that goal. So that could be it. Yeah, it's crazy to think that I think we've only scored something like 14 goals in the league all season. and it's December.
Back with the goal stats, have we got it?
Listen,
Can't help it, can you?
It's just factual information. It's just, unfortunate. With Rangers losing Giga and Diomande in 4 weeks' time, well, probably at the national break, is now the time to start bringing in replacements, or do we stick with them until December? Because so, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, we've got Diomande playing for the Ivory Coast and Nasser Giga for Burkina Faso. Both expected to be called up for the national teams for AFCON. Well, I actually think the teams are already out, but regarding injuries and stuff like that, they should be there at AFCON. So we're expecting to lose them. I don't think we're going to miss them at all, to be honest. But you could also argue that
I agree, mate. And it's crazy because the players that are worth millions and millions of pounds.
But listen to the point I'm going to make. Right, so you've got Giga, who's been playing every single game since certain Cornelius are back. I think we should at least expect at least one of them to be back by the time that both of them go out on international break. But say they're not, our two only centre halves that we've got in the first team are Clinton and Ciala and I was going to say Rafael Fernandez. That was last season. Emmanuel Fernandez, who I do see something in, but just not yet. He's just not hit the ground running yet. But I do see something in him. But the fact that could be your only two centre halves going into some massive, massive games in January, the Old Firm's at one that shouts out to me. But I don't know when the players actually go away for AFCON, if it's at the start of January or middle or end or what. I don't know.
I think did you not say 4 weeks?
4 weeks. So yeah,
4 weeks.
4 weeks. So yeah, that is the start of January. Really, 4 weeks time.
Old Firm game. The first game on. Given what Danny Rose said, I mean, the first game probably we're going to miss is the 3rd of January. But could be wrong with that. But
okay.
So, I mean, I'm not really sure what your predictions would be. The African Cup of Nations 21st December, so it's even
certainly
silence on the stats tonight as well. Take my role here. It's all good.
Certainly well before the Old Firm game in January. So, do I fear that we will have limited or even not really any centre half options for the Old Firm? That's a massive worry for me. I'm not trying to say Giga going away in international duty and Giga not playing for Rangers is going to be a massive miss, right? Because let's all agree, right? His first maybe 2 games he showed a bit of promise, but ever since then he's been absolutely garbage. He's absolute schoolboy errors. I don't even want to say schoolboy errors because schoolboys would play better than Giga at this current moment. That's why I'm saying we can't get any worse than him when I'm talking about the boy Connor Owens possibly getting a chance with the first team. But the thing is, obviously the January window will start on the 1st of January. The Old Firm's in the 3rd. Will we realistically sign our centre half and have them ready by the 3rd of January?
You can't sign someone. I mean, first of all, anyone, people would probably celebrate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but I don't think we can sign somebody at all on the 1st of January and then they'll be ready for the 3rd of January. Like I can't see it. I not for any stretch of the imagination can I imagine we've signed somebody and on the 1st and they're ready for the 3rd. The point I was going to make, which I find it absolutely ludicrous and unreal in a way, that we spent upwards of £30 million on players this season, but yet we could have no recognised central defenders for the game against Celtic at Parkhead in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, I know.
I find it absolutely crazy. One defender that has been mentioned is the lad Gogic for St Mirren.
So we just had Si put out a comment there to you guys there watching the stream, particularly on YouTube. So Alex Gogic from St Mirren, ex-Hibs and Hamilton. I believe Cypriot international as well. I believe he's 31, 32, possibly even older, maybe 33, 34. Would I take him at Rangers? It's a tough one, to be honest. I know a lot of you guys say there wouldn't be much harm in it, but don't get me wrong, we would get him on a cheap deal, and I think he would be on relatively low wages. But would there be much point in it if I signed him for like 6 months, a year and a half? Because it would theoretically just be like another loan deal. if it's for that long.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. But you've kind of hit the nail on the head with what you're saying. It's not a risk because it's not. And given compared in comparison to what we spent this season on loan players, for example, it's a drop in the ocean. Do we not need a cohort, maybe like a group of maybe 3 or 4 SPL experienced Scottish players? Maybe not have to be Scottish, but as someone a Gogic type person who knows what the SPL's about, that can play, not even all the games, maybe like 15 games a season to give some of these other players a rest. And obviously they know the SPL, they know the ins and outs, they know the expectations of Rangers. Just having these. So I'll give another example. The guy David Watson at Kilmarnock, for example, he might come to us in January. So I think we need a couple of players from this league that know what it's about and they can tell the other players what it's about, because we've got players from all over the world that we're expecting just to put into the team and gel, but it's not happening. So do we need 2 or 3 players that know the SPL inside out? Whether they're Scottish or not is really irrelevant these days, but know the SPL inside out. So somebody like, if it's not Gogic, somebody like Gogic.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we can really afford to go for the safe option, but at the same time, can we afford to take massive risks in January, considering the form that we've been in? Obviously, this season has not been good enough. Our defence has been ranked rotten. We've not got many defenders right now. Apart, you've got Suter and Cornelius that are injured. You've got Jika, who is going to be away for AFCON. And you've got Emmanuel Fernandez and maybe Nsiala, if you want to count him. But yeah, I think I've spoke about it previously on the channel, as I have pretty much everything I talk about nowadays. I constantly go on saying I've spoke about it previously on the channel. But bringing in experienced players, players who are experienced in Scotland, and you talk about Gogic, right? A Gogic type of player, right? Obviously, ex-Hamilton, ex-Hibs, and now it's St Mirren, right? Apart from maybe Hibs, he's been at some not very good teams, to be honest. And see, when it was at Hibs, it was very poor. It was a very poor stint at Hibs. And I think he went abroad somewhere, then he went to St Mirren, which obviously he's doing quite well. I believe he's either St Mirren's captain or vice-captain at the moment. I don't think Stephen Robinson will want to get rid of him. Not at this moment, considering St Mirren could be, obviously this is before the January window, but St Mirren could potentially win the League Cup and be on the track for a very, very impressive season, considering a club the size of St Mirren. So I don't think Stephen Robinson will want to get rid of his captain, nor can they afford to get rid of their captain. So I don't see Gogic ever happening. If it wasn't happening in January, it would never happen. So I certainly think players' experience in Scotland is what we need, but we brought that in Miovski, and he's not hitting the ground running. Don't get me wrong, I obviously said it earlier on the show that he's not getting the service, and I don't entirely blame him. But we're going in for... We can't go into games with tactics when we don't have the players that can actually play those tactics, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm wording that right.
Yeah, no, but just going back to Alex Gogic, what you said, he had only kind of played for some Hibs. I get that, but then a couple of names that that you can apply that to, someone like Marvin Andrews, who played for Livingston, came out of nowhere, really played for Livingston, and then you've got someone like Russell Latipi as well, who played for kind of Hibs and Falkirk Rangers. It's not. Plus, I mean, if you're Alex Gogic and Rangers come in for you, it doesn't matter what a manager says. You're going to Rangers, right? Same with David Watson as well. I'm just thinking that we're bringing in these players like but I was going to single out Bajrami here for a second, right? He cost maybe £4.5 million, right? He's a decent player, but he doesn't really get the SPL, and you could get 2 or 3 players for that money in the SPL market, and you've got decent options for coming off the bench, or maybe playing these games where you want to give your better players or more, international players a rest.
Yeah.
So for me, we've missed out in the last 5 years. We've missed out on such amazing Scottish talent.
We have,
and it's criminal.
and we've got some young Scottish talent. Not actually watching the show. We've got some young Scottish talent being mentioned here once again by Chick. We've got David Watson from Kilmarnock. David Watson for Kilmarnock sounds okay. Not exciting signing though. Not exciting signing, but I wouldn't mind. To be honest, I don't watch anything but Rangers games, so I can't suggest names. So David Watson from Kilmarnock, a fantastic young prospect in the Scottish game.
To be fair, I'm not blowing on trumpet here. I mentioned his name for about 12 months in the show.
Yeah, no, I know.
I know you said Chick Sharp and Chick, it's great you mentioned it as well, mate.
Yeah,
but it's
no.
it's just a not. He was player of the year last season.
Yeah, no, of course. I don't disagree. I think it would be a great signing. I don't think he would say no to Rangers. Say it's even the same with Lennon Miller. If there was a chance, if we went in for Lennon Miller, I think he would have joined. He'd have came to Rangers before he went to, I believe. Where was it he actually ended up at? Udinese was up.
Yeah.
He said yeah to Rangers over Udinese, I think, any day of the week. Although we have seen a lot of young Scottish talent going over to Italy and succeeding. Obviously, Aaron Hickey, who's now back in the Premier League, Josh Doig as well, even Lewis Ferguson as well, captain of Bologna. Another one that we missed out on, another absolute criminal one, who I think we mention every time we're talking about players that we missed out on. But Lewis Ferguson is the main one.
Absolutely. We're going to probably wrap things up in a couple of minutes. Shout out to a company that's really helped us in the last couple of weeks, and don't know, Simon, you can bring it up on the screen again. So.
Yeah, well, it's Kitchen Wraps and Faceless. Yeah, well, I believe Simon met with the guy not too long ago. Came up to the studio, and I believe he's going to do some work for us. I think the guy was absolutely amazing. Si was mentioned, of course. I wasn't here, but he just met Si 1-to-1. But a massive shout out to them. Massive shout out to them. I believe he will be doing some great work up the studio, hopefully soon. Because as we mentioned before, into the new year or even before the new year, we're going to be doing some refurbishment. As you can obviously see, we've got rid of the whole Jersey TV background. We're going to get something done with that wall. I'm not going to go into detail with it, but we are getting something done with that wall in the near future.
I was going to reach for a song. I was going to reach for a song, but I won't.
I spent a fair bit of time plastering wee holes in the walls. Obviously, we had some pictures up in the walls as well behind our wee background that we had. We had a lot of big frames, and meaning there was big holes in the wall. So I spent a bit of time doing that. Then, of course, Si painted it.
Is that what Simon meant when he mentioned me saying Lewis is up the studio getting plastered?
No, he was talking about something else that time. I believe. I'm not going to get into that. Nah, I'm kidding on. But yeah, well, we're certainly doing a lot of work in the studio, and I believe it's going to pay off, and it's going to improve the viewing experience for you guys as well.
Yep. So shout out to Kitchen Wraps and Facelifts. So thank you all for your support there, and I look forward to working closely with you over the next few weeks. So final thoughts then, Lewis. I'm going to ask you for your predictions for tomorrow night. What's going to be the final score at full time tomorrow?
I'm going to say 1-0 Rangers. Well, whether you want to call that optimistic or not, because I think
right now I think we classify that as optimistic.
To be fair, but we should be going away to teams that done United and beating them at least 3-4-0.
Yeah,
I think so. Anyways, considering they've had such a poor season as well, they've not had a great season.
Yeah,
I mean they just got beat off a Falkirk.
Who's getting the goal tomorrow?
That is a tough one. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm just gonna say 1-0 Rangers. In fact, no, Miovski. I think we'll see Miovski score a goal after us talking about him tonight. I hope so. I really hope so, because I really want to hit the ground running. Because as soon as he joined, obviously I said this guy's a great signing if he gets the service.
Good stuff. I'm going to go for 2-0 Rangers with.
And you said I was being optimistic.
I'm just on drugs tonight, and
I hope not.
And Tavernier and Miovski to score. Simon, okay. I don't know if you got a microphone side. If you prediction for tomorrow, we'll say it to everyone.
2-1 to the Rangers.
2-1 to the Rangers. There we go. Simon.
I think at that state we'll take a win.
Danilo's going to score, and he's going to message me saying, "Gordy, I told you about Danilo. I told you about
Danilo. Aye. Apparently so.
All good. Okay. Yeah, if anyone wants to. Yeah. So
there's been some fantastic numbers tonight. Of a lot better than the last few weeks. I don't blame you guys. Rangers haven't been too great, so I don't blame you guys if you don't want to sit and watch us moan and groan for roughly about an hour.
We try not to moan and groan. We try to discuss it, and we try to make some points.
You try not to moan and groan.
I try. I listen. I would love nothing better than not to go in here and not moan and groan. unfortunately, it is what it is. We've got a duty to report and analyse what's happening on the pitch, and yeah, it's not my responsibility that our strikers can't score.
Yeah.
However, I would like to see them get the numbers up, and I think it's really, really important that they do. So Simon's went for 2-1 to Rangers. You've went 1-0, and I've went 2-0. So we'll see who's the closest, and then we'll see who gets the Beers in on Saturday for the closest.
Yeah, well, aye, well, I think that's a good point to wrap it up. We're about to hit 8 o'clock, so that has roughly been an hour. So I'm sure you guys will all be a bit disappointed with the result there at the weekend, but let's not give up all hope. Let's have a bit of optimism, because yes, we're very far behind the league, but it is.
It's not.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Yeah,
there's stranger things that have happened in football, and certainly with Rangers. So you never know. Never give up the faith, and always remember we are the people.